Hello there and welcome back. My name is Elena.
And I'm Fotios. And this is the Game Court.
And it's again the time for the game of the month.
And for this month we have selected Skyteam. Skyteam is a two-player only game and is designed by Luc Rémond and published by Scorpion Masqué.
Masqué.
It's a French company.
The Scorpion Masqué.
The Scorpion Masqué.
Just simple.
Alright. It's we said a two-player game, right?
But it's a cooperative two-player game only,
yes.
which we're not 100% fans of. We've tried some games, but we didn't particularly like. And we've tried this one, and hey-ho, game of the month. In Skyteam, you take the role of a pilot or a co-pilot, where you're trying to work together to land your plane.
Effectively, you try not to crash. Because whatever.
Land your plane not to crash.
Exactly.
Technically, it's a very straightforward idea of you, either you, the pilot, or the co-pilot, whichever you play. You can only play these two. Are trying to land your plane safely, and it's all about the landing only. This game requires minimum to almost no communication, particularly during the rounds, which makes it very, very interesting from a cooperative perspective. What you tend to do is you have a bunch of dice and you each roll your own dice that you have to place in some particular places. Every character has two places that you have to mandatory place your dice, and all the other ones are actions that you could do as you please.
Basically what you have to do, you can try to land the plane, as Lena said, successfully. And if you try to land your plane by the end of the game, if you do manage to land your plane successfully, you win, but there are so many ways to lose the game, right? I mean, if you go into traffic, you lose the game.
You lose the game.
If you don't open your landing equipment, you lose
lose the game.
If you don't land with appropriate speed so that your brakes work, you lose the game.
If your axis is deviated, you crash.
Exactly. Basically, whatever you do, if your flaps are not proper, you also crash.
Yeah, I think the nice part about this game is the no communication during a round, which you might predict what your colleague is going to do, because for a change it's a colleague, but it's quite hard to actually manage to be on the same line all the time.
Yeah, and we have 4 dice, as you said, and we roll the die. But before we roll the die, in the beginning of the round, we can communicate.
Correct.
We can say, in this round, we must do a bit of this and a bit of that.
Or we had to focus on this and leave that one behind.
But we cannot really say, I'm going to put a high value die in this position or anything like that. We cannot say particular hints about dice pips, but we can say, I'm going to do this, maybe you can do that, or whatever.
As main actions, the co-pilot and the pilot are particularly in charge of. As main actions, mandatory actions, the pilot and the co-pilot are both responsible with managing the speed of the plane, and they're both responsible with the axis of the plane. So it depends on, because of wind and stuff like that, the plane actually moves in different ways. So you have to keep it straight when you land.
As optional actions, both of us, both pilot and co-pilot, can clear traffic by communicating with the tower, with the control tower. But this is more the responsibility of the co-pilot, I would say, because they have 2 positions, whereas the pilot has 1 position. Now the pilot must prepare the landing gear, whereas the co-pilot must prepare the flaps, the correct positions of the flaps. Another responsibility of the pilot is to prepare slowly the brakes, and the more the brakes are prepared, the easier the landing will be, because otherwise it makes it very hard to land with very low speed.
Also, everybody's responsibility is to make coffee, so you can stay awake. Which I think it's a very cool touch.
Coffee is very important, because coffee allows you to keep focus, and basically coffee allows you to manipulate
dice, yeah.
Which is cool.
This game is beautifully integrated with its theme. It has a beautiful art that's not too hard on the eye. It's wonderfully implemented, and all the mechanics around it work beautifully together. It is a cooperative game, and this is what it is at its basis. But I think the fact that you're landing a plane, which sounds like a super cool idea,
awesome.
You are landing a plane, so that's pretty cool. So it works very, very well.
I really believe that I agree with you. The theme and the game work very nice together. Like, it's one of these games that all the actions
Makes sense. Yeah, exactly.
But apart from the theme, the production is pretty good.
Correct.
You have dual boards and everything, and small nice wooden components, small planes.
You have a little coffee as well, where the coffee goes as well. Yeah.
However, it requires a very beginner's level of craftiness when it comes to when you open the game. You have to assemble the double layer board by yourself by using this double
sticky stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, it's not the hardest. They even show you where to put them, so you cannot get it. I mean, you can see how you can get it wrong, but it's very hard to get it wrong.
But equally, for the price of the game, I think it's justified.
How much did we pay for it?
I think we paid for it something around the lines of £24, something like that. Yes,
UK pounds.
UK pounds. So it's a very decent price for a board game, I would say. So I'm very happy with.
I mean, for the experience that it offers.
Yeah, very happy with the quality and everything. Yeah, the game is very fast to play. It only takes 20 minutes to play one full game, one full landing. It may take shorter if you crash, obviously. So it might be the situation that you play 2 or 3 games in a row because sometimes
this is what we did.
Exactly, and it's very satisfying.
From a replayability point of view, the game comes with plenty of airports where you can land. They are double-sided as well.
Yes, for different difficulty levels.
And you have plenty of modules as well. One of them is a wind.
Yeah, the wind, because this also communicates or integrates with the axis. Exactly.
Correct.
So you may have to land in a bit of different level.
Because of the wind, it's too much wind and stuff like that.
You also have fuel, which you need to manage, because if you don't pay attention to it, you're going to lose fuel very fast. And there's another module related to that, which is called the fuel leak or kerosene leak.
Another module offers you an intern, which means that you can train somebody technically as you can do die for die exchange. It
doesn't make much sense if you don't train your intern, you're going to crash the plane, but this is how the game works. I mean, you don't
have to play with it though. So that just gives you plenty of things. And also it gives you some little cards, like a little variable power at the beginning, correct. So you can use as a one-off if you want to play with it, which I think is a cool idea, particularly for not necessarily people that have never played, but sometimes it's good to have, the ace in your sleeve, up your sleeve.
And another module, which doesn't come with any physical components per se, it's a real-time module that you have to start a timer of 1 minute at the beginning of once you roll the die, you start a timer and you have exactly 1 minute to place all 8 dice between you, which is very cool, I would say.
The game can be played as a one-off if you like, or 2 off, or 3 off, or 4 off. Or you can play it as a campaign. And also the booklet that comes with the game gives you a very nice experience at the back of it, where they give you some little scenarios where it tells you what kind of modules you should play with and how to play it and what difficulty to play at, which I think it's super awesome. Yeas and nays?
Yes.
Yeas and nays?
Yay.
I'll go first.
Yes.
I'll go first. Yay, super thematic and super well mechanically integrated with the theme. Bish Bash Bosh, very, very nice. It really feels very, very, engaging, and it feels like you're there. I'm not entirely sure why the communication aspect, it doesn't make very much sense. Again, it's exciting to play and I really like it, but from a theme perspective, I don't know why you would not communicate with your colleague that, you land the plane together. But maybe I'm not entirely sure how this really works in real life.
I will follow you and I will say a yay based on that. For me, the yay is the limit communication. Not because it really integrates with the theme. I think with the theme that integrates in the sense that you don't have the time to do that. You are focused on different... But for me, the limit communication works because, for people like us who are not very much into cooperative games, then this kind of game works a lot.
It takes that alpha... player, I'll do everything off the table. It just completely disappears because you don't have any communication during a round.
Another idea I would like to add is that you have 2 different characters. You have the pilot and co-pilot, and you get a different experience if you go for pilot or co-pilot, and then you change, and it becomes like more variable. Even with a base game without all these modules, it becomes quite nice to play to experience the different characters.
Another yay, variability. This game comes with so many little modules and so many little maps and stuff, as in airport where you land, I mean. Because they do come like maps there, like some stuff that you need to do on them and get planes away. There's so many things, and it comes in a campaign or a one-off, and you have scenarios at the back. So there's so many different things that you could do with one little game. And for the price it comes with, it's almost unbeatable, really.
Yeah, correct. Another yay is the length. It's very fast. It's, I would say, just appropriate length because it gets you into this pilot situation, but then it doesn't drag at all. It stops exactly when it needs to stop. And it's satisfying still. I don't know how, but it's satisfying. You place a die Elena plays a die, then I place a die, and it's so satisfying that everything, works.
Also, I'll say it as a yay. It's not a table hog. It's not ginormous. It's whatever it comes. We played it on our little coffee table and it was fine. It had enough space and we enjoyed it very well over there. So I think that's a good yay for me too.
Actually, let me add to that because you said coffee table downstairs. Recently we decided to take a few board games downstairs in the lounge, right? Not many, a few, but our criteria for this was to play fast, like to play up to 30-45 minutes max, and to be able to fit them in our coffee table. And this was an instant
win, yeah.
Exactly.
A nay from me is the dice rolling, which is quite frustrating sometimes because, you just, as much as you want, even though sometimes you might get some tokens that give you re-rolling and then everybody can re-roll as many dice as they want, and that's obviously mitigating, which is good, but sometimes you get yourself... I got stuck at one point. I rolled 2 times and I rolled exactly the same dice, and it's very frustrating when this happens. Again, it is a bit of luck in it, but sometimes it can be frustrating.
Did I ever tell you that Elena is the queen of Yaji?
Well, yes. Yahtzee, I'm quite an expert, I cannot lie. I cannot roll any other dice, but in Yahtzee...
One small nay for me, very small nay, is about the size of the box. I mean, for the components inside, I think the box is a bit to the big side. Everything could fit in a smaller box, but equally, I would be very happy if I see more expansions for this game that can fit in the same box. Like, give me more airports, give me more cards for, this one-off powers, give me more modules. I will put it all in. I'm happy with that.
Game recommendations. I think my recommendation this time is a little bit bizarre because I'm not a solo player and I am not very much into them. But at one point, I think you were very excited to show me the one solo game and we played it together. And it was Under Falling Skies and we played it in 2. I mean, it was a bit bizarre, but it kind of worked. And it kind of has the same idea of rolling the die and placing them in specific strategic places so you either destroy, the enemy or get yourself further up the track and stuff like that. So it kind of has the same idea of rolling the die, placing them somewhere so you can maximize either your space or kill the enemy.
And I think the way that it reminds you of the Falling Skies is because how the small spaceship of the invader comes down slowly under Falling Skies, the same way in Skyteam you slowly decrease your altitude and also approach the airport. So you feel this approaching.
Exactly, and you have the little planes that are already on the runway and you need to clear that away. So it gives me very similar vibes to that.
By the way, if you haven't played Under Falling Skies and if you like solo games, it's an amazing game. It's very much highly recommended. Under Falling Skies is it's for me basically the best solo game out there. Maybe at some point I should do my best top 10 of solo games.
You should definitely do that. I hope it has Friday in it.
My game recommendation based on Skyteam is another 2-player only game which was released also this year by Salt and Pepper, I think is the company it's called, I want to say. The game is called The Hunt. And it's not cooperative, it's competitive.
Didn't we do a review of The Hunt?
We didn't actually. Maybe we should do
I think at one point we were thinking of doing it. It's just such a very, 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 very good game.
We discussed about it in our quarterly look back. In The Hunt, one of us takes the role of the
British, yeah.
And then the other one is the German. Yes, and it's World War II, and basically the German is...
You're at open sea.
Open sea, and German is kind of a submarine and kind of hides from the British, and the British is basically trying to identify where the German is to sink them. It's a hidden movement game, but for me it reminds me Skyteam in the sense of there's not a lot of communication happening in The Hunt because you try to keep your eyes low, you try to bluff your opponent where you are, so you don't try to say too many stuff. And the same thing is happening here. And of course, both of them are 2-player games. So.
Well, that was all for today.
Thank you so much for watching our Game of the Month.
See you later. Bye.
Bye.